Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. This is The Queen's Lair, where we talk about all things lifestyle, small business, entrepreneurship. We are back with another episode of the Elevation Entrepreneur with Miss Brittany Fagan. She is a dynamic, dual licensed clinical social worker and certified abundant mindset coach. Woo! That is a lot, but it's deep. Let me tell you. We're going to talk to her in a minute. She has over 10 years of experience. She passionately transforms the lives of everyday women using their Epic Woman framework. She is the proud owner of Yell Counseling and Coaching and the Epic Women Academy, where she expertly teaches, guides, and empowers women to break through their mindset traps and confidently walk their purpose path as their highest self. Her mission is to create and hold space for women to embody their worth and deservingness as absolute and live in a state of limitless potential. She truly believes that everything starts with an empowered woman, and abundance is our birthright. So, Miss Brittany, welcome to the Queen's Lair. Thank you so much for joining us today. Give us a little bit of background on you, how you got started, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to connect and have this roundtable discussion. Yeah, so it is so crazy that I've been doing this for over 10 years. I still have to pinch myself because when we think about career and we think about what we're going to do for our lives, it's hard to envision doing the same thing, right? And still feeling still passionate, still purposeful, still into it, still lit up by it. But let me tell you, I absolutely love being a therapist. I absolutely love being a mindset coach because I see how powerful it really is for everyday women to step into their full worth and their limitless potential and their absolute deservedness for just more, And so many of us have been conditioned over the years to be put in box of limitation that we forget that we were created to be ambitious. We were created to go after it. We were created to be abundant. We were created to have success and to thrive and just be lit up with life. And so, yeah, that's what I do. I really just help women kind of break through that nonsense, to get rid of it, to up-level their belief system, to really make inspired, intentional action to be the woman that they really crave and create that legacy of womanhood that really just fills them passionately and purposefully. So yeah, how I got into this was I actually started off as an educator. So I wanted to help, teach kids, so they can be great citizens and do things that light them up and break through, the constructions around race and ethnicity through education. And that's what I was trained as a kid, is go to school, be smart, do good, get your grades up, and go to good college and you'll have a good career. And all this, race and social stuff would not impact you as much, So yeah, so as I was teaching or learning to teach, interning and, this type of stuff, I saw so many students that were having such difficulties in the classroom, whether it was because they had disability, maybe they had emotional or mental health issues, behavioral health issues, these types of things, or even that they're from a household that had a lot going on, And I saw how hard it was to teach. I saw how hard it was for them to learn and to just be able to really embrace that environment. And so it made me really take a step back from education and say, I want to be part of the solution. And the solution isn't just educating them, because we need other tools and other resources, right, in the community enough to support teachers to help these babies out. And that's what led me to move into more of family systems work, community-based practice work, and that's how I got into social work, was clinical social work, was to really help create the solutions, create programs to that we can see in our communities, as well as just be able to work with the families, work with the kids to help them become more stable, more well, have the resources, that kind of thing, so that they can go to school, they can get jobs, they can be in their worth and be in their deservingness of a good, healthy life, and that's what I'm here today. And that just evolved over time, into what I'm doing now.
Wow. So when you started to see the need for this, would you say it's more from the home, that it starts in the home, like when you saw that students were having a lot of issues? Do you think that it starts from the home? Is that what we're seeing, a lot of that maybe the parents are not picking up on the fact that their child is having a tough time? Or where do you see it kind of stemming from?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think, for a lot of people, they don't know that they as parents are their child's first educators. They are their child's first educators and their lifelong educators. So I believe that once kids get to a school age, I think a lot of parents kind of turn that off, that like hyper-vigilance off. And so they kind of give it to the teachers to do all of the work, or kind of do the heavy lifting. Let's say that the heavy lifting. And so teachers are given a lot more responsibility than they're due, and that they're capable of, because it's out of their realm. But also, I don't think a lot of parents are able to compare and contrast their kids with other kids as well. All you see are your kids, So right. A lot of their behaviors are kind of normal to you because you've been dealing with them for a long time. So, and you're not educated on child development, right? And so you're not going to know that certain things that your child may be doing or not doing is not actually appropriate, or, for their developmental stage.
Wow.
So I think a lot of those things are what happened. I remember, and I'll give you a story, when I was a preschool teacher, I had a student, and this is like, he's probably like a toddler, and I was seeing different things from his behavior. And I remember I told this family, I said, I think you need to go see a psychologist or talk to his pediatrician about these things. And I remember the mom was like, no, nothing's wrong, he's fine. Now, I actually go to church with this family. And so I saw this mom, and this child is probably, at the time I saw her, he was probably like in middle school. And she pulled me aside and she told me that he has all these different problems, and he's now seeing a psychiatrist, he's seeing a therapist, he's had to see some different specialists. And she said, you had told me, when he was in preschool, and
because you saw like the beginnings of the behavioral issues.
Exactly. I saw the beginnings of it, and of course, not every teacher, every person's going to do that kind of due diligence. Some of it's just me, who I am as a person. I'm a very observant person, and I'm a person who really doesn't want people to hurt. And so let's just get up in there, So, and she said, I wish I listened, because I think some things would have been different at this point. And I said, yeah, it is true. What can I say?
It's true. It's facts. It's absolute facts. These things you have to nip in the bud, and it's unfortunate that, even as a kid, when you see certain kids act out in class, like even if you're just paying attention, even if it's your peer, in your class, you can tell that something more is going on. Like, kids just don't want to be bad because they want to be bad. If you start digging into their family life and things like that, you will start to see the reasons why they're in school acting out, or, whatever the case may be. But it's a fact.
It's not even always acting out, because I think that that's the kids who get attention, are the kids who have those more like overt behaviors. But also, if the child is quiet, right? If the child, who doesn't always speak as a child who's not always socializing. It's a child who maybe to themselves, right? So it's that child too, and it's also the child who seems really well adjusted. But when you start working with them one-on-one, or you start asking those extra questions about how they're doing, how they're feeling, how their day was, what's the high point, what's the low point, you start to notice, hey, they are just really functional, but they have stuff going on. And so going back to what I said earlier about parents are the lifelong learners of their kids. So we have to take those extra steps, right, to have more conversations that are open and have a really safe, secure environment where your kid can just be real and not to put on, and not only address issues that are blaring in your face, but also to just show your kid that, hey, I'm going to give you an extra support, right? Because there's also those emotional things that you just don't even know that they're dealing with, but they're dealing with them,
Yeah, I think that sometimes, parents may miss clues to things, because a lot of times parents are dealing with their own stuff and they don't realize that, oh my goodness, my kid because kids just absorb everything. You may not think they do, that quiet argument you think you're having with your husband. They can hear it through the wall, you know what I'm saying? And kids just absorb everything. And I don't think that a lot of times, I will say this, especially in the past couple of years, because of the pandemic and having kids at home, I think a lot of parents got a rude awakening of just how much work teachers really do. Because we're not used to it. They were not used to trying to, and that was just gathering their own children. Can you imagine gathering a whole room of 32 kids or 20 kids or whatever? So I think that almost needed to happen for people. I think people understood teachers do work hard. We know this, but I don't think they definitely don't get the appreciation that they should. No. But it was almost like something like this had to happen for people to understand how much teachers play a role in these children's lives, and even more than they even should, because sometimes parents are disconnected, So I think having programs and things, not only for the people who are suffering, but for the adults as well, not just for the kids, but adults, so they can start to recognize some things that they may be doing, so that it doesn't have to be like that lady, that you had spoken to years ago, and now her kid is, going through all of these therapies and things now. Well, thank God she jumped on the therapy now. But, before she's like, a grown adult, and it gets much, much harder to, to deal with. So, all right, so give me, in all of, this business that you have done, especially in the areas of mental health, what has been like one of your most satisfying moments in your business thus far?
Oh, okay. I mean, I feel recently I have been on a serious expansion roller coaster, but so I feel like I have a lot right now. I'm in a state of serious gratitude, and I feel very limitless right now. But I would say what really kicked it off that I still hold is a really gratifying moment for me, because I think it really has become very cornerstone to why I do what I do, why I work with women I work with, and how I challenge them. So one of my earlier positions that I had when I was working for someone, before I went to entrepreneur life, I worked really hard at this job, gave it my all, and I really was not feeling validated by my boss. Like, I wanted a promotion, I wanted to get the title for what I was doing, all the things. And I remember it made me really be very resentful and really kind of like just have a really hard time, going to work and doing what I was doing because of how I felt from her specifically. And so I remember that, and I was just really struggling. So I was applying the jobs, couldn't get a new job. I was like, what is wrong? I'm thinking, what is going on here? And so I finally got my little bit of vindication. I got into the Leadership Academy at this company. And so I was going through there and connecting with a lot of executive leaders and whatnot. And I let them know. I started advocating for myself and said, like, there are a lot of things wrong. I need to do some things I want to fix. Some things I think we could do differently here. And I really want a higher position. I deserve it. I've been working hard. I have the outcome for it. Like, I built this department up. Like, I've done the things. I got the receipts. And so. And so finally, they ended up throwing me this bone of this big promotion. I just wanted to get the title for what I was doing, but I ended up getting offered 2 positions above what I had. Basically, I was going to be like a center director, essentially. Basically, that's what it is. And that's really a massive position, especially at my age at the time. I think I was maybe 25 or 24. So that's something in that realm, maybe 25. So huge level up for sure. And they gave me the highest promotion rate, which is 15%. Okay, and the boss was this is the principal director. She's like, Brittany, I gave you the highest percentage raise, and I believe in you, X, Y, and Z. And this position was going to be a cleanup position. So this was a true bone. So when I went to look at the job posting, because I know what she offered me was really low, I saw that this job was posting for $15,000-$20,000 more than what they were offering me. And so I said that. I said, look, I need you to do this. I mean, this is the fact. And I ran it across the board at other, positions that are similar, other companies and whatever. Like, this is the going rate. Like, so I really, need some negotiating. I need you to meet me somewhere. And they rescinded that position. And they told me it was because I need to crawl before I walk. Look at my age. This is we threw you this bone. You should have took it. You should be happy for what you got, because someone else, your age range or whatever, would not have maybe have gotten that position. And honestly, it was ageist, it was sexist, it was racial. It was the whole thing. And I let them know I was leaving. Like, because I gave them my 2 weeks once I rescinded that position. Once they rescinded it, because it was a slap in the face. I did not have another job to go to, but I knew that God had told me, like, you got more going on. Like, let this thing go. And I had gotten a lot of clarity, like, the year before that, August, I would leave this job. So it was August, and I was like, all right, let me go with the space, and let me move it right along. And so within 2 weeks, I had gotten pretty much every job I had applied to, got offers from them, which is crazy. So how can a job you applied to 9 months ago, 10 months ago, all of a sudden call you to offer you a position? So in 2 weeks, I must have had like 5-6 different offers from jobs that I had there's a hospital I really wanted to work at, and they gave me the position, all this stuff. But anyway, I didn't take any of them. Because a psychiatrist that I was working with, they said, come girl, come have lunch with me, come see where I'm working at, come, chit chat. So I went to that chit chat looking real cute, y'all. Look, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna walk into. So I gotta be ready, okay? So I got myself together. I was looking all snapped up, had my portfolio, my resume, because I just didn't know what I was gonna walk into. It's a psychiatrist's office, a lot of movers and shakers in this office, who knows? And she said, come meet the owner of these different practices. I said, oh, the big wig? I said, are you crazy? She said, come on, Brett, come on, girl. So I went over there to him, and he literally shook my hand, stared into my face, tilted his head, stalked me up, and I looked at him straight dead in his eyes, and I was like, you ain't finna make me weak, okay, big wolf? I ain't no sheep. So I looked him back dead in his face. He said, what do you need? I'll give it to you. I was like, what?
Wow.
And I said, you need a place to work. He said, well, take your practice here. You can have your own practice, and you can have one of these offices, and you can see my clients for me.
Wow.
And I was like, what? And do you know that the psychiatrist who told me to come over there and, talk to her, she said, us psychiatrists here have been watching you at this other place that we contract with for these years. And we have been waiting for you
to snap you up. Look at that.
We've been waiting for you to see that you could do more. But we couldn't pull you, but we were waiting for you to see it in yourself.
They couldn't poach you. So they would
couldn't.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And so I ended up working on, that's what started my 3-day work week that I have kept for all these years, is 3 days. And in 3-day work week, I literally maxed out the offer of that full-time center, lead center director type position that they were throwing me pennies for.
Wow.
So can you believe in 3 days, I was able to basically double my salary? Well, I did. Actually I did. In 3 days, a 3-day work week, I doubled my salary of that full-time position, where it gave me all the stress, all the drama, all the stuff. And now here I am in my worth, working, 3 days, doing things that I love with the framework that I love, podcast, speaking, I have all kind of courses, and I literally right now, I just checked, I have over 800 students right now in my courses, and I am working with women in over 30 countries. Over 30 countries, over 800 students.
So, okay. You talking about this because let me tell you the pages that I'm on your website right now. I'm in the courses page where it's talking about the Epic Woman Academy. Tell me about that. People, listen, I've read through her website, but I want her to explain to you the type of courses that you have. Explain to us this Epic Woman. Give me like a quick overview of this Epic Woman Academy, and then we'll move on from there. But I want you to specifically talk about this because I just think this is amazing.
Okay, so let me talk to you. So first of all, Epic Woman is basically an archetype. Like, it is basically what I believe is the gateway. Actually not even the gateway, but it is the embodiment of women in their absolute worth and deservingness. So Epic Woman stands for empowered, purposeful, intentional, and courageous. So it's about women literally being personal in their pursuit. They're personal in their pursuit, determined, thoughtful in their pursuit of their life of more. It's their embodied experience of living as they're divinely created to be, which is to thrive, okay? That is it. So that's what EPIC stands for. And so Epic Woman Academy are all of the courses as the pathway for women stepping into their highest self, right? And so we have all this conditioning around us that has limited us to this life of a little us, but we were created to be very ambitious. We were created to always be in the more, not the lesser, okay? And so all my courses are the pathway, the total pathway for that. So Hello Highest Self is like the woman of the women of the woman of the alls. Okay, it's like it's the top, it's the echelon. Okay, that's my signature mindset program. It's a 12-week results-driven program where I teach you a lot of conscious manifestation, how to be really intentional about the life that you want to live, and how to fully reprogram your mind, working through the healing process. Really demystifying the woman that you're showing up as versus the woman that you really want to be. How to tap into her, how to connect with her, and create space for her so that you can live really abundantly. So it's a 12-week program, and actually right now I'm in the transition to actually make it a membership program because it's just so juicy. I'm always adding so much more content to it. So that is like everything. And so there are some other things here too that are more self-study programs. So you have the Art of Boundary Setting, which is for what every woman needs. We need to know that we are our own gatekeeper. So I teach you that gatekeeper method of really, truly tapping into your highest self and learning how to create those boundaries so that you are always in that worth, and really how to set them, how to create them, how to maintain them so that your pathway is to thrive, that you are set there to really call in and live in the life that you really deserve. whether that is in your love life, your career life, how to really trailblaze those things to honor yourself at that level. And then the other courses that I have in bundles that I have are just really like, I think they're serious pillars, I would say, to living this life. Is, you have the heal and release part, which is the emotions detox bundle. And that is my toolbox, okay? That's like my practice toolbox. So it's a lot of the practices that I use to help myself and my students really work through stuck emotions, cutting those cords that keep us attached to the past, things that we need to release, how we can really step into our energy sovereignty, right? Which is really owning how we want to feel, how we want to think, how we want to show up, and release those negative thoughts and those emotions that we've been holding on to. So that's a whole bundle of a lot of different practices and I'm guiding you through. And it's just like really epic. It's just so massive. There's a lot of amazing, juicy things in that bundle that you can pretty much put in your everyday life at any place. So there's just, that bundle is just like so much goodness. I can't, this is everything. And then learning more about manifestation, so conscious manifestation for the everyday woman without all the woo-woo. I think manifestation has become this like new pop culture word, but the reality is that we're manifesting something every second of the day. Manifestation is the outcome of what we're doing or not doing. So the Epic Intentionality Bundle, that whole course is really geared towards learning how to be very intentional about what you are doing, how you're doing it, so that you can actually have manifestable, okay, goals. So let me say it like this. There's a lot of times you may have a goal. You want to start a podcast. You want to be a millionaire. You want to get this great partner in your love life. You want to up-level your marriage, whatever. But for some reason, you keep getting stuck and falling into old habits. You keep falling back, right? And so it's because a lot of times you're not being intentional. You're not really tapping into your highest self. So you may say, I really want, to start a podcast, but is it because you really believe that's going to make you, be in your purpose? Or it's because everybody who has 7 figures has a podcast? So you get what I'm saying? But so being intentional is about really embodying the vision of your highest self and really tapping into that woman, that authentic woman who is set to thrive, and figuring out what that looks like for you. And from there, everything is manifesting on autopilot. I cannot tell you the things I manifest. Like for example, I just got I got into a car accident. I have a new car. And in my mind, a number came into my mind for what I want to spend for this new vehicle. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, do you know that vehicle is exactly that number?
Wow.
And that's what intentionality is about. And there's a lot of things, like if I want something for a certain price, the number comes to my mind and I'll show you in this Epic Intentionality course how to do it, but it comes into my mind, I do the practices, and that's exactly what happens. So it could be the type of person you want to be with. I can go on and on about this. So, but that's what that's about. And then the other workshop I have is the Championing Abundance Box workshop. This is a cornerstone because we have, from working with women over the last decade, we come into a couple different categories of things that block us from our level up. And I call them the 7, they're the 7 abundance blocks, which are like our 7 vices. So, and I'm not going to go into all the detail because there's 7 of them, so it's a lot to go through. But there are 7 different habit patterns that I see women fall into that consistently block us from what's ours. Okay? And so in that bundle, I go through each of them and I talk in detail about them and talk about the specific virtues that we can use to combat those vices, as well as a step-by-step mindset strategy for each of them to put inspired, intentional action into our lives so that we're no longer fighting with that block. So it's a very powerful, really, really powerful workshop there. So so those are like the core courses and workshops that I have. And again, like all of them pretty much for the most part are self-study. So at any time, you can go in there and be like, okay, let me see what I need to work on right now. And let me go ahead and get that bundle. Let me go ahead and get that course. Let me go ahead and get that workshop. And you can go through it on your own time, at your own pace. And start seeing, immediate results. So that's the power of that academy for sure.
Wow. I tell you, I was reading through some of that stuff. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So tell me, what projects or any events do you have coming up? Do you have anything that is coming up in the near future? Because we're in the last, pretty much almost into the last quarter of the year. Like, it's been 4 months before we are in 2023, which is kind of crazy to even believe that we're already a week into September already. So tell us what you have coming up and where we can find you, Instagram, all of that, your website. Give us all the details.
All the deeds. Okay, so what I have coming up is that Epic Intentionality Workshop. I have now created a full-length course, okay? And I will be live launching it in October. So that to me is like, you need to get in there, because I'm going to be doing live coaching calls each week of that month, going through the training. So I'll be live recording the trainings, of course, but then also doing coaching calls along with it. And there's going to be a lot of added stuff. So I'll have universal laws and principles that are added to that, which is huge. Hypnoses will be on there. Meditations will be on there. So there's going to be a lot of other really great additional content, as well as 4 core master classes. There's going to be also the strategizing your epic goals master class. So really talking about how to take those intentions and actually create a goal plan for them. So there's a lot of good stuff. So October, that will be rolling out. So definitely get in on it on the live round, or if you didn't get on the live round, go ahead and get it anyway, because that price goes up, because it will definitely go up. It will only stay this price for just a very short period of time. So there is that. And then where you can find me, because I'm always in something, whether it's a bundle or a conference or a summit, definitely follow me at Epic with Britt on Instagram and Facebook. So at Epic with Britt. And then my not my email address, but my website is bdanielle.com. So you can find me in these places and just continue to connect with me. Like, I love being a witness to people's testimonies and their journeys. One more thing. And I do have Epic Woman freebie library. So I would definitely say get access to that. Hopefully there will be a link somewhere in the bio, where in that freebie library are a lot of resources that I've created for my students and my clients to really get on this abundance manifestation journey. I'm like so tongue-tied this afternoon. So there's journal prompts, there's quick trainings on there. There are mindset audits and workbooks for skill building. So a lot of great things, and it's all for free. So yes, please just grab those resources and just keep expanding.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much, Brittany, for bringing this wealth of information. I definitely will put your website, and I'm at the freebie page right now, the Epic Woman Freebie Library. This has some great stuff in it, people. So for those of you that are listening, make sure to check the show notes. And in the show notes, you're going to see all of the information that links to Brittany, and then you can explore the different options, through her Epic Woman resource center that she has on her website, and the fact that, she deals with mental health all the time. This is her job. This is her life, especially when dealing with women and things like that. So please definitely check her out. Thank you so much, Brittany, for coming onto the Queen's Lair. So appreciate you. Do you have any last words that you want to give, or nuggets that you want to give to our listeners?
The only thing I want to say, honestly, first of all, thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait to connect with each of you as you listen to this podcast and further just expand and grow as an individual. But I want you to know that everything starts with an empowered woman. Like, you are the reason that we have legacy and perpetuity. Everything starts with you, you know, so your potential is limitless. Your worth is absolute. Your deservingness for everything more is what you're created to be and stand in. So don't let anything, anyone, any experience stop you from living in that worth.
That's a good word right there. You can't even add on to that. Again, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You can always connect with me over on Instagram at Onyx Queen Media. Again, this is our latest installment of Elevation Entrepreneur. And thanks again, Brittany, for coming through and sharing this wealth of knowledge with us. You guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.